Broadcasting Company Limited, or its advertisers.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of On Point for today, Friday, the 24th day of July, 2026. Of course, my name is Alexis Jeffers, and it's always my pleasure coming here on a Friday afternoon to spend an hour with you. Most times it's an hour well spent. Most times I say, but I would go further and say I wish it was more than an hour, but that is what we have to work with, and we'll work with that. So, good afternoon to all who are listening and viewing at this point in time. Of course, my name is Alexis Jeffers, and you're listening to Von Radio 860 AM, 93.7 FM. Of course, you can get us on YouTube, Facebook, and other social media platforms out there. With that being said, I want to say hello and good afternoon to all the folks up there in St. James. That's the parish that I live in, and I've been there pretty much all of my life, and that's where I hope to spend the rest of my life as well. Beautiful parish, of course, wonderful people, and indeed I say good afternoon also to Baby Perkins and all those other folks who will tell me that they're listening not only to me or this program, but also to Von Radio, which is one of the most popular, well listened to radio station here in the region. Of course, let's say good afternoon to the rest of Nevis and down there in St. Kitts, and of course further afield, Sabre, St. Bart, Statia, all the way to the US and British Virgin Islands. I jump over St. Martin. How could I do that? French and Dutch St. Martin. We have quite a large following there in St. Martin, both on the French and the Dutch side, and all of the family members and friends who are there, who are listening. I say good afternoon to you. And then coming back further east and south, Antigua, Barbuda, and all of the islands and countries in between, all the way down to Trinidad and Tobago, and most southernly of us, Guyana. While am I recognizing Guyana and the people of Guyana, I want to express my profound sympathies for the loss of lives over the last weekend, when there was a boat by the name of Rima, which would have sank in the Atlantic Ocean. And that's a boat that was transporting persons from one region to the next there in Guyana. Quite a number of persons were lost in that disaster. Women, men, boys, girls, children. And it is one of those disasters that remind us of some of the challenges and difficulties we have had to deal with here in the Federation as well, especially back in 1970. As a matter of fact, if my history serves me right, my understanding is that the Christina would have come from Guyana or something like that in the past. It's almost like a similar boat when you look at it. But that being said, the most important thing to speak about at this point is the tragic loss of life, and indeed the whole of Guyana. I would want to express my sympathies to those who are living among us who may have lost a family member or family members in that tragedy. The investigations are ongoing, and indeed we'll hear what the true nature of that disaster, how it unfolded, and what will be done in the future to ensure that we do not have such disaster. We have done quite a bit here on the island of Nevis and on the island of St. Kitts, let's say the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, to mitigate against such circumstances. We have had challenges in recent weeks or month thereabout, and indeed every effort is always made to ensure that we maintain a certain level of safety and security in our waters. And something that just came to mind is that there have been quite a number of disasters in recent times, and it says that we all, meaning all Caribbean countries, whether in the OECS, CARICOM, and further afield, we must do whatever it takes to ensure that the necessary laws, rules, regulations, and safety procedures and protocols are adhered to, so that we can save lives here on the seas. I believe earlier this week as well there was a disaster there in St. Lucia where persons would have lost lives as well, with collision or something of that sort. But definitely a boat would have sank and persons would have lost their lives there as well. That being said, we continue to be sympathetic to all those who would have lost a loved one, and we pray and hope that some healing would be there for all, and counseling and all that will be there for all who are impacted by these tragic circumstances, and look forward to all of the necessary steps that will be taken to ensure that these tragic circumstances mitigated or don't happen again. We don't want it to happen again anyway, because every time these things happen it really puts some stress and some bad feelings on the communities that are impacted most dearly. So we hope for the best there, yeah? Okay, so let's move on. Condolences. I want to express condolences to all of the grieving families out there at this time. I want to touch on one particular family who would have lost the matriarch of their family over last night or earlier this morning, and that is the family over there in the Combermere area, Scarborough area I should say, and that is the family, or the surviving family, of Mrs. Frances Hicks Jeffers. Frances Jeffers was 102 years old. She would have celebrated her 102nd birthday in May, I believe, of this year. And so I want to express my sympathies and condolences to persons like Anton Hicks, Gladys Hicks, Mackie France, and Finey, Coretta France, so we say Finey, Jensen, we say Winky, everybody know Winky France, and the whole family over there in Scarborough. Yes, Frances was the matriarch of that family, hard-working lady, lived to see a ripe old age of 102, and even though she would have lived this long, it would still be a major loss for the family, because you'd want your loved ones to live for as long as the Lord would provide. So the Lord would have provided 102 years, and that's a very long time. But indeed, a void would still be there because of the connection and the love that embodied that family. So of course they would miss their mother, grandmother, aunt, great-grandmother, all of that. She was one who was there for the entire family, and so I ask for God prayers and blessings on the family, so that the comfort that is needed will be provided, and everyone would see this one through in terms of being there for each other, and ensuring that each person is able to, handle this profound loss. So my sympathies once again from all of us here at Von Radio, and I would say the entire island of Nevis and Federation by extension, because anyone who would have lived to see 102 years would have had some major impact on the development of the island of Nevis, and by extension the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Someone of Francis' caliber may not have worked in St. Kitts or worked at any major government institution per se, but her offspring and grandchildren and great-grandchildren and everyone down the line would have had some impact in some shape or form, and so the impact is far and wide, not directly from her but through her offspring and all those who came along with that bloodline for sure. So that's what it is, and we'll listen up and as to when the funeral and so forth will be held, and we'll provide all of the support we can to the entire family. And anyone else who are in the bereaved column, I say, my profound and deepest sympathies are extended to you. Indeed, anyone who are under the weather at this point in time, I want to say get well soon, whether you're at the Alexandria Hospital or you're at home recuperating. I pray that you will be back on your feet and strong enough, healthy enough to make the contributions that you have made over the years towards the development of the island of Nevis, and by extension the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis as well. And so may God continue to bless you and be with you. And coming out of that, persons may be in a somber mood, but there are some who are celebrating today, and we'll be celebrating over the next couple of days. And I want to say, well, revel in your enjoyment and your fun and frolic. Nothing is wrong with that, because life is so fragile, and things can change in a heartbeat. We know of circumstances where persons would have gone to bed last night and they're no longer with us today. So it is important for all of us to enjoy what we have at this point in time, which is life. And so at this point in time, I want to say good afternoon and happy birthday to Mrs. Viren Chapman Walters. She works down there at TDC. I worked with her some years ago. Viren, happy birthday to you, and may you have a wonderful day of celebration today. And of course, over there in the Combermere area as well, we call that area Riverside, or Riverview, over there in St. James, Scarborough, Combermere, Riverview, whatever you want to call it. I want to say happy birthday to Carol Ward Thomas. She's celebrating today as well. Happy birthday, Carol. And of course, this is someone I've known for many years. Pastor Cecil Cooley Bartlett and Jacqueline Bartlett are celebrating their anniversary today as well. Happy anniversary to you, Pastor, and Mrs. Bartlett as well. Have a wonderful day today. I know, well, you know how to celebrate. You'll have the Spirit of God with you, and you'll have your own spirit and your own, togetherness to enjoy later, I suppose, and throughout the rest of today. Yeah? And those who are celebrating coming up over the next couple of days, one such person would be Romancy Atherton from the Jessups. Romancy is celebrating on Sunday. So when you see Romancy on Sunday, whether you see her at church, at the show on Sunday evening, wherever you'll see her, just say happy birthday to her. You could buy her a drink as well too, she love that. Yeah, Romancy, have a wonderful day when it comes on Sunday. Enjoy your birthday to the max, as they say. Tuesday would be my good friend Casey Sargent. We call him Spacey. Drives this wonderful looking red van. I think his route is between Charlestown to Country on my side, the north side. And so Spacey, happy birthday when it comes on Tuesday. And of course next Wednesday is my good friend Allison Jones, the butcher. He's celebrating next Wednesday as well. I'll get a chance to catch up with these guys. So happy birthday to one and all. If I didn't call your name, it's just that I didn't know. But the fact that I didn't know doesn't mean that you're not celebrating and you're not going to have a good time. I'm saying you will, and go ahead and spend whatever money you have on yourself. Don't wait for anyone to call you and say, let me take you out. Take out yourself. Enjoy your money and enjoy yourself. And when it's all said and done, there will be some gratification behind it. Believe me, you will enjoy your time with yourself, okay? And your money. They don't like when I talk about money, but that's okay. Okay, good. Let's move on quickly. The weather outside is very hot, but it's beautiful. Typical Caribbean day, and it's consistent with what we've had here in Nevis over the last couple of weeks. Very hot weather, but beautiful nonetheless, and it's a good day to go to the beach. Yeah, so if you're here on the island, sometimes we take these things for granted as locals around here. We have the beach there, but we look at it and we don't even venture. But those who have come, I'll say, go to the beach, enjoy the sea, the sand, and the sun. And so, as I say, visitors, I want to welcome one and all who have come thus far for our 52nd hosting of Culturama. And those who are on their way, get here safely. I pray God will bring you here and your journey will be a safe one. And so we are waiting for you, because of course there's a lot in store for you when you get here over the next couple of days to enjoy Culturama. So welcome home who are here, and those who are on their way. I am waiting eagerly to welcome you as well too. And come on and see what we have here. I always say, come and see for yourself. Come and check for yourself. Come and experience for yourself, because Nevis is one of the most tranquil places and beautiful places in the world. And this is your home as well. And when you're out there in the United States or United Kingdom and you're boasting about Nevis, well, this is what you're boasting about. So when you're done, you bottle this up and take it back with you and tell the people out there who you normally associate with, boy, I was home to my beautiful homeland, and it was a wonderful stay. And so I want you to enjoy yourself, yeah, and enjoy Culturama. Visit your family who are here, and let's let's all have a good time, yeah? And safe time as well, too. We have to be safe about it. Okay, let's move on quickly. Public service announcement this afternoon is a grand barbecue up there by the St. James Anglican Church. That is my church, so I'm putting in a plug for them. Starts at 4 p.m. this afternoon, and let me see what they have in store for you, because I think I have a flyer somewhere here. Yes, I do have a flyer somewhere. Yeah. Okay, the St. James Anglican Church presents its annual barbecue. They're saying it's going to be good food, great fellowship, one family in Christ. Yeah, so while you're there, I guess we'll talk about the Bible and sing some choruses. I don't know. But what I know for sure they'll have there is spare ribs, chicken, fried fish, Johnny cakes, cook-up sauce, and local drinks as well. And like I said, it starts at 4 p.m. until, so there'll be lights there, so the until mean it can go until 7, 8, 9, I don't know. But whenever food is done, that's when they'll pack up and run. So they're saying come out there for 4 p.m. this afternoon and support this barbecue. The funds raised will go towards various church ventures, various church activities. And so the support to the church is definitely needed, and we appreciate that in advance. So see you later over there at the St. James Anglican Church, yeah, on the rectory lawn just next to the church, so you can't miss it. Okay, good. All right, and the next big event that will be held in St. James, and I have to speak a little bit about this, is the Herbert Beach Affair. That comes up on August Monday, which is the 3rd of August, down there at the famous Herbert Beach. We all know where Herbert Beach is. We all know about the history behind Herbert Beach. We all know that the Herbert Beach lands are now owned by the people of Nevis. So it is there for us to enjoy. We have fun and frolic and everything down there. You can go down and have a sea bath or whatever the case might be. These days and around this particular period of time, it is not the most pristine or beautiful of beaches on the island, especially in the north, because we have the sagasam weed that floats up on the shoreline over there, and it is it's rather uncomfortable to deal with. It's not the best of feeling, really, and it certainly creates some challenges with the water itself, the seawater itself. Anyway, be that as it may, we're hoping that some of that will dissipate over the next couple of days, so that down there will be a bit more comfortable when the 3rd of August comes around. So I'm inviting one and all to come on up to Herbert Beach on August Monday. That is not Monday coming, the following one, and we have lots in store for you. As a matter of fact, we already have a lineup, and we are adding to that lineup as well as we go in terms of the entertainment. And so what we have thus far, we have the Collision Band will be there, Smallux Band will be there, and also the Destiny Band, which is a band up there in the Brick Hill area. We had some conversations with the well, I would say the leader of that band, Mr. Snowflakes. Everybody knows Snowflakes. I don't want to call his correct name, but Snowflakes is a man who have been in bands from since I know he was a child until now. He was in the not GI's Brass, IC's Brass, Soul Survivors, and whatever other bands. But he has this little band there called Destiny Band, so they'll be there. We'll have some of the 2026 Soca Monarch contestants will be there to sing their tune. I am going to reach out to all of them who I have on this list here. I know I want to see Westside up there. Westside, if you're hearing me, the crowd want to see you on Herbert Beach Affair stage, along with Ross Brown and Rocco. I think that's the name of his son. And there are other persons who I'll reach out to, Ottawa and Soca Impress, and all of them. I just listen up. I'm going to make the call and make the arrangements, and so we can have at least an hour of them down there entertaining the crowd. For those who may have missed them thus far this year and may not get here in time for the Soca Monarch, for example, or may not go to the show, we'll have some of them down there on that day. We'll also have artisan vendors who will be selling some of their necklace and craft work, t-shirts, that, you know, those type of things. So you can get some of those to take back as souvenirs or for your personal consumption as well. And then of course we'll have a kiddies corner. We'll have the electronic bull. We've made those arrangements to have the electronic bull, and other forms of entertainment will be there. Plus you'll have the booths. We have a couple of food stalls that we're going to be constructing, and indeed you'll have a variety of food items there to choose from, whether it's goat water, conch's water, fried fish, barbecue ribs, barbecue chicken, fried, I said fried fish already? Yeah, cook up, and what else? Oh, I'm understanding there'll be burgers and fries and whatever, popcorn and kiddie stuff and all sorts of things, and all sorts of drinks, breweries drink, bottled drinks, top shelf drinks, all kind of things will be available down there for consumption. So we'll have a jam-packed afternoon. We start at 12 midday and we go down until 12 midnight, so we say it's 12 to 12. And so within that time frame of 12 hours, we are hoping to entertain you down there at Herbert Beach, and we are hoping that you'll be there to consume whatever is available there, along with the consumption of the music, yeah, because the music will be there for you to enjoy while you eat and drink. And I know it's hot these days, but bring along your lawn chair, your armchair. If you're in a wheelchair, it doesn't matter. There'll be some shade provided for you, because we'll have some tents there to provide some cool or some shade, as they say. And indeed, there are trees down there, and then the beach is there. If you can go beyond the point of those, I got some weed and swim in the ocean, well, you can do that as well. So come on down and have a family fun day filled with all kind of activities, filled with all kind of goodies down there. And indeed, we will continue our preparation of the site this upcoming week, or this upcoming weekend, and of course this upcoming week as well. Some work has started already, and so we are getting the place ready. And when it's all said and done, it's lights, camera, and action. Yeah, Herbert Beach is truly on, or the Herbert Beach Affair. We've been down there for a number of years, and well, I myself have been spearheading it for the last, well, this will be 23 years. Oh wow, 23 years non-stop. Well, God has provided me with the strength and the, you know, the sustenance, I suppose, to be around for 23 years. That feels good, you know, and I feel like I could go for 23 more. Anyway, I'll be around as long as the Lord provide, but once I have strength in my body, we'll have Herbert Beach Affair. So even if you don't hear it on the street or anywhere, just keep that in mind. It is a perennial part of the Culturama activities or the lineup, and so Herbert Beach is on. And so this is my contribution that I make each year for the past 23 years, and I see it as my civic duty, of course, to my community of St. James, and also to the island on a whole, and to Culturama. And so I want to encourage one and all out there to continue to make your contribution. Those who are not making any contribution, find a way, because we have a lot of talk out there these days about Culturama is dead and you don't feel it and so forth. Let me say this, and let us be fair. Culturama, when it's all said and done, is really the last big weekend is Culturama in most cases, but we have shows leading up to that. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of next week, that's when the crowd descend on Nevis. That's when the large contingent of people will come. People come over from St. Kitts, people come from neighboring islands, people come from the United States based on their vacation plans. And so those of us who are here, well, we'll hold the fort until they come. But once they come on the island and people are here, then the whole thing goes to a different level. And believe me when I tell you, you cannot have a good festival or any type of activity without people. Once you have the people around, you'll have a wonderful and grand time. So Culturama belongs to all of us, and its success depends on all of us. How about that as a tagline? Yeah? Culturama depends on all of us, and its success depends on all of us. So let us put out the effort. And for those who continue to exert their effort year after year, I say kudos to you and thanks to you. Persons like, the Calypsonians, those who participate in the Culturama Queen Show and the different shows like Mr. Cool and Swim swimsuit or swimwear pageant. And of course, those teachers who work alongside those young children from the various primary schools that participate in the talented youth, and of course, all of the mass players, the bands and vendors. Vendors are important, of course, and all of the sponsors, the business community here on the island and further field that contribute to Culturama. I say, well, thank you. I am not the Minister of Culture, but I am a Nevision, and I love to see when things succeed here on the island of Nevis. So I am extending my thank you and best wishes to all of you who continue to participate. And that is why I say that I continue to exert whatever effort is needed to keep the Herbert Beach Affair going, because it is my contribution. If nothing else, for the past 23 years I've been exerting those efforts, and I've had some contributions from the government, from local individuals, especially those with equipment that come down and do some cleaning and clearing for sure. My friend Winky, of course, who maintained the area down there, and I see he has been doing a wonderful job thus far by himself. And even the inmates, prisoners who would come down next week, they've been coming year after year to provide some work to clean up the area as well, and then they come back after the event to clean up as well. So all those who contribute, I know I'm starting to thank them before the event has taken place, but it's always good to express thanks, and you know, it is just a delight, you know, to undertake this particular event for sure. Okay, so let's move on from there, and any other event for Culturama I want to you know, I want to encourage persons to go on out and support. I have the calendar here. I believe, let's see what we have this evening. There's something this evening, I believe. This is what, Friday the 24th? Yes. The National Bank Miss Culture Swimwear and Mr. Cool contest is tonight. Yeah. It's kind of early, yeah, but at least 26th of, today is what? The 24th, no, the 26th is Sunday. That is the talented youth. Okay, so this evening is the National Bank Miss Culture Swimwear and Mr. Cool contest up there at the Cultural Complex, or the NIDAX Cultural Complex. And of course, Sunday, as I was saying, is the Mr. and Miss Talent Youth Pageant there at the NIDAX Cultural Complex as well. And indeed, Monday's the Panorama, National Bank Panorama competition. That will be on the 27th. Tuesday the 28th is the Junior Calypso Monarch as well. That's down at Charlestown Square though. That's down in the heart of Charlestown. And of course on Thursday is the National Bank Soca Monarch Finals up there at the it's down at Charlestown Square as well. And then of course we move back to the Artisan Village. Is that correct? No, the Charlestown Square as well. Cultural Complex is Friday the 31st. You see, these posters and flyers are so loaded with so much information, you know. But Friday for sure, next week Friday the 31st is the TDC Senior Kaiso Finals up there at the Cultural Complex. And then of course next week Saturday is the Culturama Food Fair down there at the Malcolm Gishard Park. And then Sunday will be the last big show for the Culturama lineup of activities. But there are other shows, which will be next Sunday, will be the Culturama Queen Pageant. Okay, good. Well, here's what I'll recommend. Go on social media. Go on the Culturama Facebook page. And all of us have a phone in our hands, so you go there and search for yourself, yeah? All I'm going to tell you, the next date that is important to me will be Monday the 3rd of August, which is Herbert Beach Affair, which is on the secondary calendar. Fringe event, they call it, I believe. Yeah, so that's what is important to me and my purposes, really. So, our heritage proud and true. It's Culturama 52. Go on and out and enjoy, yeah? Okay, let's move right along. Yeah, at least I will say at this point in time, last week sometime, and also I believe earlier this week, we saw some kind of protest around here over this Destiny project. And And I look at these things and I said to myself, well, at least it's the democratic right of everyone under the Constitution and under the law to do and say what they are constitutionally able to do without infringing on somebody else's rights, I should say. So I have seen some protests around here over Destiny, and well, I say, and I've been looking and watching, and I've been asking myself, well, what is the purpose really? Some people have different agendas, yeah? Something that strikes me though, yeah, is that I believe that these protests is not so much about the Destiny, you know. And I'm being serious, eh? When I talk, I'm serious. When I come behind this microphone. Why I say that is because I heard someone who was supposed to organize a match lambasting another one who is organizing or was supposed to organize a match. Like there was a head-on collision. One was abusing, the other say he's this and that, which I'm not going to repeat those words here on Von Radio. But when I listen to how one was castigating the other, I say, but this is more about them, you know, and not so much about the real purpose behind a match. So I said to myself, somebody's probably looking for attention or looking for credit or looking for fame. And I'm dead serious about that, because when you hear one is referring to the other in such a derogatory way, and I'm not going to use the word here, but I have it here on my phone, but I'm not going to put that on Von Radio as no clip or anything. You can go to social media to find it. But you listen to them and you see how they're castigating each other. And you understand that there's more in the matter than the pestle. This is not so much about a protest against Destiny, but somebody want to elevate themselves, want to look a certain way in the eyes of those out there who are looking at these pictures, listening to these talk shows, or hearing the narrative that is being peddled out there. Don't get me wrong, Destiny, in my opinion, have a lot of different opinions out there. That project has created some discussions here on the island of Nevis and in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis as well. But what is lost in this whole thing is the true essence of why you're protesting and who are a part of these protests. One thing I can tell you, I look at these protests and I don't see any young people among the crowd. I don't see anyone who own any equipment here on the island of Nevis, who own a business and who are looking for some work to do with their equipment. I don't see any contractors or any builders. I don't see any electricians. I don't see any plumbers. I don't see any painters. I don't see any landscapers. I don't see any engineers. I don't see any restaurateurs. I don't see any food providers, businessmen, brokers. And you can call all the names of professionals who are here on the island of Nevis, who are seeking to expand their business, who are seeking to grow their business, who are seeking for an opportunity for themselves and their families. What I've seen though are persons who have some old recycled grievances. And I'm not calling anybody old, but I said they have some old recycled grievances that they have against perhaps Mark Brantley, perhaps the CCM, and maybe against the island of Nevis too. So they have come to protest against this Destiny project because they see an opportunity to push an agenda out there, to seek to get attention and to seek to create a narrative as if something is totally wrong with the Destiny project. But as I said, I do not see any of these people who have noted who will, I dare say, benefit tremendously from this project. As a matter of fact, what are some of the benefits? I'm not going to go into the whole thing about Destiny, but lost in all this as well is over $50 million worth of infrastructural investment. Lost in all this conversation and all this noise about city within a city, state within a state, country within a country. What could go so? And when I say what could go so, is that I don't think any leader of Nevis, the Premier of Nevis, who is now Mark Brantley, will ever cede his powers to anyone within the 36 square miles of the island of Nevis. Prime Minister Drew is the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. Well, I don't think he would ever cede his powers to anybody within the borders or within the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. So When I hear this state within a state or country within a country, rubbish. Doesn't make any sense to me, but it sounds good to some. And so you look at the 20% permanent profit share for the island of Nevis out of that destiny. Mark, you haven't talked about the jobs that will be created in every area. Jobs in construction, jobs in hospitality, jobs in landscaping, jobs in technical work, jobs in all areas as far as I'm concerned. But that's all lost. Funding for scholarships. Of course, funding for the Alexandria Hospital, and of course there is a dialysis center being built up there at the hospital as well. Listen, I don't care what anybody tell me. Every development, no matter whether it's destiny, no matter what have come already, no matter what will come in the future, there'll be upside and downside. We then have to weigh these things. Nobody gonna tell me nothing about slavery coming back to Nevis again. Slavery coming back to who and how? Slavery? I want the people to understand what slavery was and colonialism was. In every development there is some give and take. And I'm not here to dig into destiny all afternoon, but I'm just saying, I'm pointing out these protests that I'm seeing, when in truth and in fact the same people who are up front protesting have already made money out of their lands over there. They've sold their lands, collected their money, used their money to buy new vehicle, used their money to pay off their debts, used their money to put into a fund to perhaps use to campaign with when the time comes. But they now are saying to those who are selling and those who are standing to make money out of out there, don't sell your land. Talk against the project as if you don't have any common sense. That's what they're trying to tell people. You don't have enough common sense to see that they have sold, they have made their money, they have collected their riches, they have collected whatever is theirs. But now the hypocrisy has come to their light, whereby they're telling you, we ain't want no destiny, they say. But they already benefited and will continue to benefit. And I say to the people of Nevis, right, just look at what's going on, understand what is at play, and understand that the cross-section of those who are out there protesting, one, as far as I am concerned, and do not nobody take me to task for this. If you so desire, go ahead. But the reality is, those who are protesting have more behind them than what is in front. That is a fact. You look at the cross-section of these protests, those who are protesting have more behind them than what's in front of them. Listen, I'm 57 years old. I'm going to get old. I'm getting older by the minute, and by the day, and by the weeks, and by the months. So I'm going to get old. And because of where I am in this life, I am so much more concerned about those who have more in front of them than what is behind them. Because this is the future we are building for them, in terms of providing opportunities so that they can stay right here in the island of Nevis where they were born and raised. We have always talked about brain drain, where our brightest and best have left Nevis because of the lack of opportunities. And you know, as I speak about that, let me talk about University Heights. I would hope that we can have a duplication of that, where we would have offered opportunities to our university and college graduates who would have come back from university or 4-year college. And we are saying that if you're here for 5 years or more, that's the first eligibility requirement. And we would have established a housing development up there in Garner's over there in St. James. I believe it's about 13 or 15 persons who would have benefited. And you know, I said 13 or 15 persons, but remember, these persons have started building their families as well. Some of them they're married, they have their children, and so families are now over there. And that is one of the things that we would have used to maintain or keep our young people here to contribute. Many of them are in areas that are important to the development of the island of Nevis. Accountant, engineer, electrician, business persons, different professions of the architect, all sorts of areas. And that is what we are thinking about when it comes to destiny and the development of the island of Nevis. And so when we hear all of these protests, and I tell you that some of them may have had businesses and they're no longer in business, but some win and some lose. Some succeed and some fail. But that doesn't mean that you should use your failure to create failure for others. If you failed, what you should be doing is to tell persons, listen, I made this mistake. I had this successful business. I used to have trucks running, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them running behind each other, taking aggregates all up and down Nevis. But I don't have it anymore. There's a reason why that is so, and this is the reason why, or these are the reasons. And so what I want you to do is to use those examples and do not repeat them, but build on those. Turn those around and turn them into a successful business for yourself. I'm not knocking anyone. All I'm preaching here is some logic whereby we're saying that if you're failed in life, it doesn't mean that projects should fail or other persons should fail, but you can certainly provide some examples and say this is what it is. Don't do that. But Destiny as a project is a good one, but if it needs some tweaking, needs some compromise, let's see what needs to be done to make it happen. Because I said before, Destiny is tied to the airport project, and speaking of the airport project, we have made significant progress over the last couple of days. I think we are now at the point where we should be mobilizing the initial payment to the contractor, and so that should be done shortly. I'm hoping over the next couple of days, if not the end of this week, by next week, we should be able to report to the Nivision public. Once that is done, full steam ahead. But that is also a project that the NRP would have objected to, protested against, but it's tied to Destiny. All those who are going to come to this island, whether they're going to fly in via their private jet or through commercial aircraft, that's where they'll land, and then head over to their resident or residence. And then, of course, all local travelers as well too, citizens and residents and visitors. So the airport project is an important one. But you know what? The NRP objected to it vehemently. Went out there with just some signs and protesting. But you know the good thing? We in the CCM party and government, right? We neither bend, buckle, nor bow. And why I say we neither bend, buckle, nor bow, some other coward might have just, boy, they're protesting. Let me back down. Let me back off. No way. No way. The reason why that airport is important is because it will be a gateway to the global community to bring global investment into Nevis. I am tired of hearing all people, whether citizens, residents, visitors, having to go to all different parts of the Caribbean to come to Nevis. We are saying no. No more of that. You can come directly from the east coast of the United States. Those who are traveling further afield in their Bombardier Challenger or Bombardier or Global Express, whatever plane it is, that goes to Europe, wherever, you can come direct. You have the ways and means and land right over there and then take off from there and go back to where you came from. So you look at these things and you see that Nevis must have its actual gateway to the world, which is that same airport. And so we are proceeding with that particular development, and we're not going to waste any time anymore. Once we get that mobilization done, then you know we're on our way. But not only that, we have heard objection to geothermal, objection to everything. As a matter of fact, we have heard objections to our movie industry that we've had here, developed here on the island of Nevis. This is an industry that we said we are bringing the world to Nevis and sending Nevis to the world. That's what the movie business does, you know. Because you hear people talk about viewing a movie that was created here on the island of Nevis, sitting down on some flight moving from the east coast in the United States to the west coast. And where was it done? In the island of Nevis. So without spending any promotional dollars, people get to know. Or curiosity will get them to find out, or lead them to find out where Nevis is. And so the movie industry and the NRP argued against it, called it down, said the worst thing about some of the persons who were behind it. But look at it now. Up to last weekend, I think they were over in Newcastle somewhere doing some kind of production. And our people were the ones there, you know, calling the shots. And you hear them, lights, camera, action, you know. Our people. And the opportunity never existed before this industry was established, or coming out of or during COVID-19, when we thought about what can we do to lift the notoriety of the island of Nevis and to get us some prominence out there and to put something in place to bridge that gap when we know things were slow and hard during the COVID-19 period. That's what we went to, movie business. And happy call it down. Call on the Wally P out there as well. And look at this. Over 1.5 million passengers have passed through that facility. You know what that amount to? Almost $50 million have turned over there. When the NRP says, they said it's rubbish. One time I hear them say this pier look like Robinson Crusoe, ain't gonna be able to find his way to land or to shore. But the kind of thing they went out and took pictures of water, rainfall and some water gathering there. But I am so happy that I am a part of a organization called the Concerned Citizens Movement, where we have a mandate to bring development to the island of Nevis, whether development in the geothermal industry, whether development in with the airport reconstruction or renovation, whether development through destiny, whether development through the improvement of our infrastructure, roads, water, electricity, whether it's development through human resource development. All of these are what we're mandated to do, and I am so pleased with the type of development that this government has brought to the island of Nevis to enhance the lives of our people and to improve their lives and livelihood. I am so pleased to be a part of such team. And so we now are looking at certain things around here. It seems like there is an election somewhere on the horizon. I don't know, because people are talking as if there's one. So if people are talking as if there's one, we just have to start to think that there's one coming, yes. Because I've seen some movements where the opposition is launching candidates and people out there all gung-ho about all kind of things. But I want to say something, huh? You see the opposition that we have here in Nevis? Back in 2011, they said, and they did, take people's name off the voters list, about 200 plus persons. Say people were registered where they were not living. And so they went without due process, take off over 200 people's name off of the voters list, yeah? They did that. They did that. They say you're not living there, so you're not going to vote there. But the NRP has brought some candidates to us who are not living in the constituency where they're putting them to run. I want the people of Nevis to ask themselves the question. I don't think there's any law against it, but the principle involved in it, yeah? The principle involved that you're going to take up somebody who born in Barnsgott, raised in Barnsgott, and send him up to Stony Hill, up in Rollins Mountain, and tell him, go run up there. He ain't live up there, he ain't registered up there, can't vote for himself, or couldn't vote for himself, but asking people to vote for him. That is an interesting party in the opposition, that is. Interesting. Now they've come with someone who was born somewhere in Stony Grove or Brown Hill or somewhere. I don't even know where he born. But they bring him to Nevis 11 and say, vote for him, right? But he ain't born in Nevis 11 nowhere, neither St. James nor St. Thomas Parish. He ain't registered nowhere in Nevis 11, neither St. James nor St. Thomas Parish. He ain't got no connection. Well, I don't know. But as far as I know, connection is when you live there, you're there, and you're among your people. But now they say to vote for him. Not only that, the NRP is sending a lady, well, some woman up to Gingerland, who ain't live in Gingerland, who ain't born in Gingerland, who ain't registered in Gingerland, who can't vote for herself in Gingerland. The NRP say, vote for him. Vote for them. But you know who was registered, legally registered on the voters list. And I say legally because, as far as I'm concerned, the people that were legally registered and they were unceremoniously taken off. No due process and no laws were followed. So I got to say they were legal. Because if they were illegal, then they would have put a case whereby you say, here are the reason why they're illegally registered. But they didn't do anything like that, so I'm not even going to argue that with anybody, and whoever wants to argue otherwise, it's up to you. But once you go through the process, then we can establish whether they're legal or not. But I am saying they were voting before, and they were voting up to the point where they were taken off the list. But now they're coming now and say, this person don't live in this constituency, but we must vote for them. Or they don't live up in that constituency, but they must vote for them. You go figure that out, because that sounds like pure rubbish to me. But what else to expect from the NRP? They said they were not going to run candidates in a federal election and in a local, and they went and did it. Last federal, they had 2 candidates that run in federal and they came back in local. Who they think they're fooling? Or who they think they're mama-guying? They're probably mama-guying their supporters, and I don't think they should treat their supporters like that. They should respect them. They should respect them, because this kind of tomfoolery shouldn't be working in the island of Nevis. Yeah? And so when they come to you, the first thing you should ask them, they ask you, you could vote for yourself up here, or over here, or down here? You could vote for yourself? Well, if you can't vote for yourself, how you expect me to vote for you? It's a simple question. But you know what this belongs to? Belongs to poor leadership. The NRP has been in a downward spiral since God knows. They've had 5 different leadership changes, or changes, whatever. 5 different leaders over the last couple of years. And now I understand they're trying to get rid of the current leader too. But it doesn't surprise me, because as far as I'm concerned, all the noise coming from NRP is more like a ship without a rudder. Pure noise. No prescription for the island of Nevis. No alternative to what they're protesting against. No answer to what they're arguing against. They didn't present a manifesto in the last election. Maybe they might come with one next time, I don't know. But they didn't present a manifesto. They said change. That's what they said, change. Get rid of them, they say. But they're saying get rid of them, but I'm hearing people out there on the street saying not them again. So they're saying get rid of them, and the people out there on the street are saying not them again. They're not going to get a reality check just now, because the people of Nevis, in the CCM, they see leadership that they can rely on, leadership they can trust, and steady hand at the wheels in terms of the leader of the island of Nevis. And they can say whatever they want. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. But I am saying, when it comes to the leadership of this island, Nevis is in good hands. Just like that tagline that Allstate has, you're in good hands with Allstate, you're in good hands with the CCM, you're in good hands with Mark Brantley. But they must stop trying to fool people. Because all this foolishness of taking people from all over the island and telling them go run in that constituency who can't vote for themselves, ain't registered in that constituency, can't make any sense. If I live in a constituency, I must be there to feel what is going on there. If the electricity goes out, mine must go out too. Not, I am over there and you're over there suffering. If water goes out, I must feel it too, so that I can pick up the phone and call and ask what's going on. That's when you live in a constituency. That's when you're part of that constituency and among your constituents. But the NRP don't see it that way. And that's why the people of Nevis should not be fooled. Just like how they said, down in St. Kitts, Nevis don't want nothing. Why? Because you had 2 different parties in St. Kitts. I'm coming to federal elections, because they're coming up soon. They will come before local anyway. And so I've always said, and we've always preached, that when you send representatives from Nevis, you have to send the best. Persons who are going to stand up down there and represent the people of Nevis such a way that we can all be proud. In 2015, we were part of a federal cabinet. The CCM, that is. And things that we were able to achieve between 2015 to 2022, and even now, is because you have the best representation this island has seen in years. The best representation. The Honorable Mark Brantley, Honorable Eric Evelyn, and myself. Well, Latoya Jones, Honorable Latoya Jones is there as a senator. But when we were in a federal cabinet down there, we never used to get any monies out of the passport sale. Well, we got a $4 million loan and then some other small monies. But with the monies that we have received, we have seen so many development here on the island of Nevis. The Mundo Track, roads on Nevis, all the roads that have been built. The Alexandra Hospital, the, Treasury Building down there, the Holy Water Taxi Facility, communication devices for Long Point and for the airport. You name it. And I can go on and on. During COVID as well. Not one soul, not one government employee was denied their full pay. What that meant is that you were able to pay your mortgage, you were able to pay your car note, you were able to send your children to school, you were able to save your money, you were able to pay for your resources that are needed for your household. It's out of that money came. Not one soul lost a paycheck. Public servant, I must say. And so when you think about the representation that has been provided by the concerned citizens movement at the federal level, no one can challenge that. And well, let's back up and say you can. But we'll come with our counter because we know that you didn't do anything there. You said Nevis don't need anything. That's what the NRP said. But we have said we have come and we want what is rightfully yours. And that's how we have argued all the time as a party. We are looking for what is rightfully yours. We're not looking for anything more. Nothing more, nothing less. Give us what is rightfully yours. And some on the other side over there on St. Kitts would have said, every dollar that goes to Nevis is one less dollar for St. Kitts. When it's our money. And they're going to talk about how money was spent in Nevis. Well, I don't like to do the comparison, you know. But it has to be done. 24-hour water service. Some places in St. Kitts still balling out there for water. Electricity on all the time. You have a little power outage when they're doing their maintenance and so forth. Roads, impeccable, pristine, clean island. Bills are being paid, people are working. People are flocking to come here. Where do you think they're coming? Where do you think they're coming? You think anybody gonna live hard life in the island or country and come to harder life? No. They see opportunities where construction is booming. Some people got 2 and 3 jobs. More power to them. So Nevis is on the right trajectory, the right path. And no matter what negativity is spread out there and spewed out there, Nevis will continue to be Nevis because of the leadership of this island. And Nevis will continue to prosper because we have a mindset that only the best will do. Just like Von Radio's tagline. Sorry to steal it from Von, but I'm on Von Radio so they wouldn't mind. The time is almost coming to an end and I don't want to get in trouble. But when it comes to the island of Nevis, I am saying people are coming because they see opportunities here. And I want to say to our local people, grasp the opportunities that are available to you. They're there. Don't think because you're a citizen, it would fall into your laps. No. You gotta go out and grab it. They're there. And so if you need assistance, you have a government that you can approach. Have a conversation. And so, in wrap it up. Say I need 2 hours, but anyway. Don't forget, this afternoon, come on up to St. James and give the church there your support, St. James Anglican Church. We have a wonderful barbecue there. Lots of food to consume. And of course, those shows that are coming up on the weekend this evening, like they said, is the swimsuit and Mr. Cool show up there at the NIDAX complex. And of course on Sunday evening would be the Talented Youth. And before that, tomorrow morning I believe there's the aquatic sport down there at the waterfront. That's the Empire Sports Club, I just recall. Mr. Evelyn, I'm sorry about that, but I didn't have that on my note. But you go ahead and support the Empire Sports Club as well. Well, it's just a few more minutes, 1 or 2 more minutes, so I want to go into wrap-up phase and say, listen, this cultural armor, I want all of us to make it our business to go out and support all of the events that are out there. If you can't support all, support some. But choose what you can support if you can't support all. But show your face in the place and enjoy Culturama. Culturama 52 should be a great one. People are going to be here, and I want us all to mix and mingle, but be safe about our going and coming. Drive safely on the road. If you drink, don't drive. If you drive, don't drink. Let us try and save lives during this cultural period. It is meant to be enjoyed. It is an explosion of our culture and our well-being here on the island of Nevis. So time is up. So I want to just say, if you go to church on a Saturday, go and serve your God. If you go on a Sunday, do likewise. Say a prayer for this station and its management. Say a prayer for me. Say a prayer for the leadership of both St. Kitts and Nevis, so that they can both make good decision, wise decision, that will positively impact the island of Nevis, this island of St. Kitts, and by extension the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. So have a wonderful and safe weekend. May God continue to bless us all. May God continue to keep us safe, and so we can continue to build this wonderful federation of ours. Have a wonderful afternoon and a great weekend. See you. Bye-bye.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or its advertisers.